if I was stranded on the side of the road, I agree that I would probably call someone in my family and whoever was available to come help me. I don't think I would want.
I wouldn't want a stranger, only because I would be a little nervous unless I was like a big highway. But yeah.
Exactly. So I do get that, and that and knowing that might deter someone from stopping to help.
That was what popped into my head too, because I get that on a highway, because you hear about people, just getting all killed and everything, which would be bad. We don't want to know. So
yeah, but I feel like out in the open in the Home Depot parking lot where there are plenty of people and others can see you and you're alert, and you weren't like getting in a car. Like I'm thinking like I'm not helping somebody load stuff in the back of their van, right?
Yeah.
Like my mind just went to Silence of the Lambs where he had her help him load a couch in the back of the van. Like, okay, don't be going and doing that. But or if it's your neighbors, like your neighbors.
Like Ted Bundy was that way too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, same. Like where he had like a broken arm or leg or something, and he was like, "Hey, can you help me put this in my car?" Like, yes, of course, there's stuff like that happens, but
yeah, I think. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to give you a pass if you're broken down on the side of the road, but let's take basic stuff like
opening the door.
Opening the door. Well, okay, we'll get to that.
Okay,
that's big. So the airport, helping people. If you see somebody struggling, don't just assume, but ask. Could you use a hand? Okay, I always ask. So let's just go there, but let's shift it to the chivalry discussion a little bit, because you said opening a door, which I don't necessarily think is gender neutral. Like, I mean, I think it is gender neutral. I hold the door open. I held the door open coming into the building this morning for people. I think that's a normal thing to do.
Should be.
Right. Now, for those of you guys just letting the door slam on somebody, shame on you. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
If you're that late, get up earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we're like too busy and not paying attention, I feel.
I think it is too. So let's talk about the legit chivalry for a minute, because this has come up for me a few times. And I had this discussion last week with I was down visiting my aunt and uncle. They're in their 60s, right? So I think the generations were different back then. And I'm in the middle, and then I had this discussion with Mia, our other co-host. So here's what was interesting to me is gone are the days of opening the car door for your date. And that meme I sent you yesterday, put the jacket down over the puddle and everything like that. I jump in the puddle. I like jumping in the puddles. I was out walking with a friend the other day on the Greenway. There was a big puddle, and he's looking at me like, do not jump in the puddle. And I really wanted to jump in the puddle because there was a guy I wanted to splash. But anyway, I didn't. But let's talk about open the doors on a date or for a female. What is your take on that? Because you're a millennial. So I'd be curious to hear what you think. Like, does Isaac, I'm putting you on the spot, Isaac, does Isaac open the door for you?
100%.
Like the car door?
Every door.
Okay.
If we are together, he opens every door.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because this is where I think we're in the minority.
I greatly appreciate it.
I do too.
To me, it speaks more. To me, it speaks more than if he thinks I do or do not need help with that. I could be carrying nothing, and he's still going to go before me and open the door for me.
See, and I love that. And that's what stood out to me too. And I've noticed it more frequently. And I did ask Mia about this because she's a Gen Zer, and she goes, I can open my own door. So it died somewhere, and I don't know where it died. And if that makes me old lady Andre, that's fine, because I think it's nice. I think it's, and I have noticed that because, it's being a single girl in the world. There are people that don't, and I do notice it, and I don't know that I notice it all the time. Like I do, but I dismiss it. It's so much of a rarity that I have a couple of my guy friends that just like get in the car. But it's, there are a couple guys that I'm friends with that do open the door. Like no matter, even if like not necessarily a date, just opening the door. And I noticed that my uncle did that for my aunt. And, he also ordered, she would say, I'd like this, and he would place the order. Now that was them. And I asked him about it because I was curious. I was like, I kind of like that. What'd you do? He goes, I've just done that. She appreciates it. So he does it because she appreciates it.
100%.
And so that's what I thought was interesting. And I was curious as to whether or not that's a dying art and if people still appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because what I was hearing from people is that they're not really appreciating it anymore.
Well, there are two different views in the sense of, so when Isaac opens the door for me, it's not because he thinks I cannot open the door for myself. It's more of a care and respect.
Yes.
So, I know, and he enjoys opening the door for me. So I will actually, if I approach the door first, I will actually stop and wait, and then allow him to open the door or proceed before me. And that's like it's just an understood thing that we have. He doesn't.
But I think you attract attracts like, because I like that. I personally like that. And Cliff Young just commented on LinkedIn that if we don't teach our children kindness and chivalry, the world's going to continue downhill into a loveless society. Cliff, you are so spot on, and that is exactly why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same way. And it's not a matter of me, because you guys, I am all girl power all day long. I have 3 daughters. I am a black belt in karate. I am not this little weakling that cannot open the door. I pride myself on being strong and independent, and I am a don't need no man type of woman, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not appreciated. It doesn't mean that you can't show kindness and respect. And what's interesting is we, when people open the door, I just think it's a sign of respect. I really do.
Yeah.
And you reciprocate that. So we were going somewhere, and I don't even know where we were. So my friend Matt had opened the door. I got in the car. I always lean over and open the guy's door. That's just what I do. And that's a reciprocation of the kindness. And, the people that I've done that with are like, oh, that's cool. So I don't know if everybody does that. So apparently, because like my guy friends and everybody that I've done that, they're like, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, I don't know why somebody wouldn't do that back. If they're kind to you, you're kind back.
Right.
But I think Cliff makes a good point I'm fearful of the trend down if we're just leaving everybody to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me about the lack of kindness and the decline of chivalry, is it's letting everybody, it's basically like I'm all about you do you, but if you do you and you need me to help you, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like we're losing it a little bit as a society.
Yeah. Well, and we've made many strides in our community and in the world, many advancements. I do think that there is something to be said of looking back and seeing the fact that marriages of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, they're still together.
Yep.
For a reason.
Yeah.
There are certain things that grounded in that history. There was just a different way of life that they did it, and they did it that way for a reason. And I feel like there is something to be said for those, we want to call it old ways.
Yep.
Of there's I don't know. I feel like there were less fights. A lot of the stuff that we have going on today.
I think it's respect.
Yeah.
Because here's one
we don't
thing.
Have it anymore.
Here's what we don't. And I know we've got Sam McElhaney on LinkedIn just said that she opens the door back to. I know you do, girl, because you're like me. You knew.
Yeah.
You know Sam. Our friend Sam is good.
Hey, Sam.
Because she's like us.
Yeah.
But I do think it's the minority. But here's some of it's respect. Is really what it's respect. If somebody is respectful enough to me to open the door, not because I need help, because they're just showing respect to me, I will absolutely show that back.
Yep.
I think that's normal. Now, for me, people are like, well, not all guys do that. But what's interesting, I'm not, and I kind of joked on Facebook. I'm like, that's my thing. Like you're not getting to date 2 without. I mean, but that's what I choose to surround myself with. If that's not your thing, totally cool. I get it. You're probably just not going to be in my little circle, because I demand respect and mutual respect and all that. And I do. I think what I'm saying, you're saying, Cliff commented on all kind of stuff. It's declining, and that makes me really sad.